So probably like a lot of you, we're really having to adjust to a number of things, and one of the things that we're having to get used to is not having a place to go cut our hair pretty regularly. And so Lisa had ordered some clippers online, and in the afternoon we were out here kind of cooking dinner, and she decided to try and give Ethan's haircut a go. And it's great. He won't share it with anybody, but he is a lot like a lot of the other kids, and we've seen other Facebook posts of parents who have had to do the same thing. And one thing is for certain, and that is that we did not go to cosmetology school, and that cutting hair is a harder process than we thought it would be. Um, but it's an interesting ordeal, I think, to really put in somebody else's hands. It really means a lot to you. And in my own personal devotional I've been going through this week, and just different concepts of what it means to really live out our faith as Christians. And one of the passages that it got drawn to was John chapter 13. And I went back and kind of said, okay, what is this passage? And I immediately knew, okay, this is a passage where Jesus washes the feet of the disciples. And it's a pretty common passage. It's a pretty typical cultural tradition that you would see from Greek communities in a Greco-Roman world, where they would wash the feet of people that came into their houses, in part because everybody wore sandals everywhere and the roads were made of just dirt and dust, and as you would go from place to place, your feet would just get dirty. And so when you arrived somewhere, you felt fully clean and at home and comfortable and relaxed when you came into a place and received this kind of treatment. In John chapter 13, one of the things that really jumps out at me is that Jesus makes this statement about people who are clean, and he says, well, not all of you are clean. And he said that because he knew that somebody was there who would betray him. And it goes on, it talks about the conversation that he and Judas have later on. And the thing that jumped out at me more than anything else, I think, is Jesus washed Judas's feet. I mean, it's a thing that we come across and we see. Maybe we forget about from time to time. But it's real interesting to me in a time and an era where we are so fixated on sides and being on the side that's right, and what side is right and what side is wrong, and what it means to really look out for yourself only. And the interesting thing, though, is that when I went out grocery shopping this morning, I didn't see a sense or feel a sense of people needing to be right and pushing each other away, but there was actually this real calm presence of people trying to make the best of the situation and be as lighthearted as possible. I know that it's difficult because a lot of anxiety and tension and stress, and just the general cabin fever of being kind of hunkered down in one place, I think can really start to wear on people after a while. But it's a beautiful reminder for me of what it really means to live out your faith. In the life of our church, this Sunday we would have celebrated Samaritan Sunday, which is an opportunity where we come together and we talk about the story of the Good Samaritan. And so our service on Sunday will feature a lot of that. And we try to, get funds supported through auction to be able to help people in our church that we know are struggling financially. And we hope to do that again in the future when we gather. But it's a beautiful reminder for me as we understand the story of the Good Samaritan, as we understand the life of Jesus, the way in which Christ washed the feet of all of his disciples, not just the ones he liked, not just the ones that sided with him, not just the ones that agreed with him all the time, but even the one that betrayed him. That Jesus was still there, that Jesus still engaged in this process of humbling himself down. I think there's a lot of value to be gained in that. There's a lot of wisdom to be gained in being able to look at one another, regardless of wherever we see ourselves, or what our ideology is, or what our skin color is, or any other differing thing that divides or challenges us. I think the key thing to really remember is that each and every one of us are dealing with this in our own way, but that we're all in the same boat. We're all going through this together. And so my prayer for us this week is that would be at the forefront of our minds, that as messy as things may get and as bad as things may turn out in the short term, that we are still in this together.